Welcome to Trackside Lounge, live from Logical Automotive. Actually, I've got to say, because it's season 2 here, we've got to say thanks to Carl and the facility here at Logical Performance, because he lets us do this. I've actually got to say there's something pretty special coming up with Carl, possibly next week. I didn't talk to you guys about it, but he was telling me about a package that's coming that I think would make one of the coolest unboxing things ever.
Okay.
Right, so if you're interested in horsepower, next week could blow your mind. Just also quickly on the way here today to Logical Performance, on the way here, driving along the motorway as you do, stuck in traffic, bloody cars. Car comes on the motorway, right? It's a 1954, I think, Riley Pathfinder. Had a vinyl roof, but they actually came out with vinyl roofs in the old days. Yeah. It's a big, long, swoopy thing. It's got suicide doors at the front. Interestingly enough, I think it's a 1.5 litre engine, but it's a pretty big old beast. And I expected an old wobbler to be driving it, probably had it since it was new.
Yep.
No, there's a guy my age in there. Clearly he'd either picked up a restored car or totally restored it.
Oh, your age, right, younger.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. Someone's going to get kicked in the shins later on. It's going to be a total surprise.
That's what the table's here for, to cover that.
So I'll watch that. As it went past, it's completely silent. And I had that horrible feeling like maybe it's an EV. But it's not. The tyres were rolling, and then when he picked up the throttle to stay with the traffic, it makes that burble, and you go, no, it's definitely got the original.
It's just that smooth.
It's just beautiful. Cool. But then, like less than 200 metres later, on the back of a flatbed truck, not because it was wrecked, but because it needs carrying, because it's a really precious piece of machinery, from the 30s, have you ever heard of a Cord?
A Cord?
Look it up. One of the first, in fact, I think it was the first car ever to have pop-up headlights in the 30s in the front fenders.
So that's the make, Cord?
Cord, yes, C-O-R-D. It also front-wheel drive and automatic transmission to the front drive. They were super expensive in the day, ultra luxurious. It's got this beautiful swoopy body shape. Seriously, as you look at it, I'm pretty sure that car would be worth a couple of $1 million on the open market. So to see that this morning was amazing, and then got completely barreled past at the speed limit because I was stuck in the traffic by an amazing Scania, yellow. Looked like it was freshly minted, like the wheels were shiny. Clearly it wasn't because of the number plate on it, but I was thinking, God, that reminds me of why I wanted to be a truck driver when I was a kid.
What sort of year Scania?
I still making new. It was a 90s Scania,
okay,
but it just looked amazing. Followed by another truck that looked absolutely amazing. And I thought, hang on a second, 2 classic cars, 2 ultra shiny trucks that make me want to be a kid again. Yeah. Is there some kind of show on that we don't know about?
Some sort of heavy diesel Concours.
Yeah. Is there like an auction or something? Yeah, because you had the Concours the other week, didn't you?
Yeah, at Ellerslie. But
that was the weekend before, so
didn't
it
see
wouldn't
any
be
trucks
like,
there.
No, they wouldn't be coming back from that.
But
what a weird thing.
The guys that prep the trucks, though, they're incredible. It really did. When I was a kid, when I was like your age, Nathan, I wanted to be a truck driver. The reason I'm not is because I'm shit at backing. Actually, and going forward in a truck, I'm not very good at that either.
Yeah, come on. Hey, welcome to the new section. Now, the centre section of the Trackside Lounge is now where I think this man needs to be, which is great.
And there's a reason for this. It's because I'm slightly heavier than the other 2 here. So what this does is it puts the heavyweight in the middle, and we can just balance things out nicely.
Makes the floor nice and smooth. Yeah, no, and that's all. That's good, and I'm looking forward to going through some great topics because boy, we've got a lot to get through this week. And
let's start with the big one because 12 hours of Bathurst. It's the endurance race, not the Bathurst, the old Ford versus Chevy, but international makes a lot of controversy this year.
Wow.
Well,
Did you guys stay up for the whole 12 hours?
No, unfortunately I sort of tuned in here and there with, in between bits and pieces work-wise, but didn't really get to follow too much of the pre-build-up because, again, busy with motorsport, and then race day, busy with motorsport. So it's on record, but hopefully we will watch it at some point in the next 10 months, unlike last year's race where I think we just finished watching that, November?
Yeah, we did. It took us months. It was way too painful. No, but we were tied up and very gratefully received some tickets from Karma Auto Parts to go and see the D1NZ. And on the Saturday, Well, we'll talk about that a bit
One
later.
thing at a time.
Really
One thing
good, really good.
Oh, okay.
And then on the Sunday, it's our Woker Dirt Track doing one of their race meets, which was cool. And only one more to go for me before I have to flag the series for them because of other commitments. So we're looking forward to the 1st of March. But no, it's good. But then because he's sending me updates, and I'm sitting again, oh, that's great, but I don't want to hear about it. But of course, as a commentator, you want to say, hey, look, this is where it's going, and not to give us away winners, but the carnage. Unbelievable
It was
carnage.
absolute carnage. I mean, a couple of kangaroos got nailed.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't take long. What was it, like lap 4 or 5 or something? Yeah, and of course, Bathurst 12-hour starts in the dark.
Well, on the Saturday one, Skippy got clocked as well, unfortunately.
Qualifying?
And that was in qualifying. It was on the Saturday. I think it was qualifying.
Yes.
Yeah. And so then that's terrible. And I think they spent some more, put some more fences up, did what they could possibly do. But it was a dry season, and Skippy was, big numbers around the place. So they're doing what they could do. But yeah, the race started in the dark, and I think only like 5 or 6 laps in. And I regret knowing this because I haven't actually seen the program yet. But anyway, I've heard all about it. And yeah, unfortunately, Skippy did a big thing. It was high speed too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, kangaroos at Bathurst are pretty commonplace. And yeah, it's like Canada, Montreal, they always have groundhogs. It's just
Sorry, I thought you were going to say is it kangaroos in Canada?
It's just become part of the thing as animal encounters, right?
Canadaroos.
I don't think we've ever seen a kangaroo taken out with such velocity. I mean, Chris Mays was doing like 250.
Yeah, I think it was 250, yeah.
And just absolutely we now know what happens if you absolutely spatter a kangaroo at 250, and it's not pretty. It went through the windshield. He even was unfortunate enough to have his helmet visor up, so his face and his eyes. And when he climbed out of the car, I think on the broadcast they were talking about he might be covered in oil, he might be covered in,
Well, some sort of oil. Within the body of a kangaroo.
Was blood. And he had it all in his face and his eyes, and I think he got out of the car and pretty much threw up.
As you would.
Because it was that. I mean, I've never thought what the inside of a kangaroo smells like, but frankly, it's can't imagine it being very pretty.
Have you ever had an encounter with a kangaroo?
No,
The
never.
outside doesn't smell so good. Just in passing. But that wasn't the only carnage there. There was carnage on the track, and some of it was interesting how it happened.
Look, European drivers are aggressive as, they are the worst when it comes to dive bombs and just really aggressive driving, and then they turn around and they go, well, that's just racing, that's just GT racing, that's how you have to drive, right, to win, because it's that winner's mindset. Nobody else matters but me. And that's not a knock against them. That's just how they are. I mean,
not all of them are French.
Look at DTM.
Yeah.
And how a certain Lawson was taken out by another incident we won't really go too into. But anyway, I mean, not too long after the kangaroo strike, the KTM ended up crashing at Murray's.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure yet if that was a stuck throttle or failed brakes or whatever, but that's another one of the fan favourite. They've come to Bathurst semi-regularly for the last how long, and they just never have any luck. They always get bullied, or they get bashed, or they get crashed, or in this instance it was a failure of some kind, so that took them out really early. Everything else is just...
And then the big one.
There was a few big ones.
Well, there was
the huge one. But
James Golden had a big one in the Audi. I mean, I saw him going up over the top of by the grate there, and he at the time, later in the day, he was about 30 laps down and had mechanical issues and done whatever. This was a V8 supercar driver. And I don't know what happened. I think he just lost attention, wasn't paying attention, or something happened. And he did the big tank slap going around through the grate, through the left-hander, turned it right around, put the left-hand side into the wall big time, brings the car right, big ball of fire, and then comes around, brings it around, and still slaps the same side again a second time on the other side of the track. And I thought, well, at least he didn't smack the left and the right side. He just double hit the left side. And then you hear his comments afterwards, I'm really sorry for the team, and it's my fault. And I'm like, you just $200,000 worth of damage.
What is it this year specifically, this race, with cars? I mean, we've seen a lot of car crashes, in racing. You see a lot of crashes. I don't think I've ever seen so many crashes where they've hit the wall and spontaneously exploded into flames.
Yeah, that was an interesting, because the big one that I saw was on the Dipper, is it? The one at the top of there was a couple of Porsches there. One had hit the wall and the other one had stopped. Yeah. Then a Mercedes comes through, smacks the Porsche, and the bonnet flies up and there's this huge ball of flame. And I thought, holy cow, what's going on with these things? Now, there's a bit of controversy about that accident
big controversy.
as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of controversy.
So talk me through this, because The way I saw it, there was 2 cars parked at the top of the hill.
Yeah.
And clearly parked, and not just parked, that arrived.
Yeah.
Pretty sure there are flag marshals that wave yellow flags and things like that to warn other drivers, but the guy in the Mercedes didn't look like he got any kind of warning at all.
There's a lot to unpack on that one, and there's a big investigation going on. But the first Porsche that's side on is the instigator. He has a spin and hits the wall and sort of stops there. And why is it a case of get going as quick as possible? But in this story, it's straight after another safety car. So cars are in very close proximity.
Right.
And there's 34 cars, I think, started that race. So there's a lot of cars on the track. I'm not saying all of them are still on the track. And then the car that's straight on the scene, the second Porsche, he's sort of like, well, I'm not going to go through that pile of debris. I'll puncture a tyre, so I'll stop.
Don't stop.
I know, but I'm guessing that's all he can come up with. And for quite some time, and
so there was quite a big delay.
There was a good few
15
seconds, more than a few
20
seconds. Yeah. I think it was like 10 plus.
Certainly
yeah,
long
right.
enough for flag marshals to go, hey, look, there's stopped cars. Maybe we should do something about that.
And there's a couple of controversies about the flags. There's controversies about flag points, but there's also a very strong rumour that the Mercedes in question had no in-car comms.
Oh.
And that begs the question, should you have in-car comms? I mean, could you imagine the team saying, we can't talk to him, and there's a car stopped and it's a blind corner and he's coming down at 1,000,000 miles an hour. And so that in itself was, and if there's any truth to that story, that's a big thing. And then how do you fix it? So it's like, well, at the moment I'm seeing some of the overseas sites and everything, especially the Australians, and they're really lambasting the flag marshals. You've seen flag marshals saying we can only, and people replying, I've been there and I've done this, and not saying they were the flag marshals. And we can't do anything unless we're told to.
Hang on, really? Unless
FIA standards. They quoted some FIA standard about they actually can only do so much, but they can't do any more until they're told to.
Right.
And then it may be that these particular flag marshals were not. And then it comes to the thing about the comms. And I mean, we talk about motorsport in general. Even the dirt track and speedway classes have a one-way comms.
Yeah.
And you can say double yellow, cars blocking the track at turn, whatever. I mean, speedway does it and all those sorts of things. And certainly circuit.
I think the thing too, because I was talking to Scott Smith, Smitty, who actually went to Bathurst and camped out there for the first time.
He's Australian, so he'll know a lot.
Loved it, had a great time. Can't recommend it enough. But he was saying that because there was one flag marshal point that was doing the double yellows, right, and it was pretty much just before the crash. He reckons you can see that flag point from like 2 or 3 points back.
Right.
You can see them. And you got to remember what flags mean in motorsport. Yellow flag is slow down, be prepared to stop. Double yellow is like stop.
Yeah.
Like it's basically a red flag.
Oh, yellow flag is slow down, don't pass. It doesn't actually say be prepared to stop. It's double yellow that's be prepared to stop.
But generally you want to be able to stop in the distance you can see ahead, which in a place like Bathurst, rather than carrying on like you're on lap of the gods and then you plough into a Porsche.
Yeah, because that was pretty dramatic, wasn't it? And some of the immediately after the impact footage is quite disturbing, and part of it, in my mind anyway, the safety officials, if they're supposed to call the flag marshals and that sort of thing, there seemed to be some kind of delay. It's like, maybe there might have been a radio issue, maybe if the driver can't hear, maybe the safety crews can't hear and that sort of thing. And that's got to look into how the thing is set up. But I would imagine if I was the guy whose your job it is to be safety, because I'm that kind of guy, and there's a bit of carnage in front of me, I don't care what the guy thingy says. I'm going to make this as safe as I can for any oncoming traffic, for the people on the track. So I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah. That's the difference between a safety crew and a carnage crew. Yeah. I mean, carnage crew sits there and watch a demolition derby unfold in front of them, and that's unfortunately what seemed to happen. It really was.
Well, look, there was a lot more to Bathurst than obviously just the one crash, and that investigation is ongoing. So I'm sure, we might have more to talk about it specifically next episode. Also in the race, there was a bit of Mercedes on Mercedes violence. I don't know if you saw that one. Barry Ryan did Barry Ryan things and stormed over to
I love the way you said that.
Stormed over to the garage in question and gave them a piece of his mind because he's pretty good at that.
Yep.
Also the Quinn story. We had Quinn, which was great on the live timing because you could never tell who was actually behind the wheel. But for a first ever effort, and certainly a unique effort where it was an entire family racing, that was not a bad shout.
And just imagine, in a Scottish accent, you've actually on the track you've got 4 Qs. I'm just saying, you have, haven't you? You've got 4 Qs. And imagine Tony Quinn saying that.
And I just want to thank the Quinn family for doing this, because There's only very small parts in life we can get away with a gag like that, and that was fabulous. And Tony Quinn, I thank you for that. That was absolutely marvellous. If we could do it again at any stage, God, it'd be hilarious, would it? That would be great. Look, and I want to lean on the officialdom just a little bit, and this goes back to, in the weekend, it was the NZTQ title at Waikaraka. Bit of controversy in that one. We had the 1, 2, 3 came in, and then, as drivers are, there was a protest. Now,
so sorry, just you're saying the 1, 2, 3 as far as one NZ, and all the results were sort of.
Yep. They came. We did the presentation on the field, you know. Then there was a protest was lodged by one of the drivers. Now the protest comes around. Peter Hunnibell, who was the previous 3NZ, had just passed this young guy Brett from Christchurch, who is a hell of a good driver. He's only been in the seat 2 seasons. Wow. He's already set the South Island alight, and every time he comes to North Island, the kid is on fire. I was talking to him, he's thinking about sprint cars, and I swear he has got number 1 NZ written all over him. Don't know what class it's going to be, but he is going to be a champion. He's a hell of a driver. Anyway,
got that championship material.
Back to the controversy. There was 2 laps to go, so we're coming down to the finish, and the way the cars were on the field is the way they finished. However, there was a car rotated coming out of turn 4, and Peter Hunnibell, who was the leading car, came into contact with it, so we go to yellow. You've got to find out who's the prime cause and that sort of thing, and there could be some decisions made, and Peter Hunnibell could have been relegated and that sort of thing. The cars, bearing in mind there are only 2 laps to go, they circulated for 7 laps while the officials came up with a decision. And the decision was, the car that rotated was prime cause, and if anything was going to be done to Peter Hunnibell because he came into contact, he would have been relegated there. Yeah. Didn't happen, cars were released, they finished 1, 2, 3, and that was it. Because of the potential for what happened 2 laps out, that's why a protest was lodged. Here's the thing. For at least 3 hours afterwards, we could not get a result.
3 hours.
And here's the thing that gets me on this one. During the race, the officials had made the decision on prime cause and that sort of thing. And as every driver is entitled to do, you can protest and you can say, I think this and I think that. But at that point, that's when the official should say, the decision was made, this, and that's what it is, because you're an official. You make those decisions. Why did it take so long? The officials were arguing with themselves.
But hang on, it's a New Zealand title.
Yeah.
TQ, 3/4 midgets.
That's why, protests are absolutely...
But you are part of a TV production group that's there on the live stream and to the track.
Yep.
You've got cameras there. So all you got to do is just rewind it, look at the incident there. If the guy's spun and then Hunnibell has got nowhere to go, gets caught up, I didn't see. Yep. It's easy to sort it out. Did Hunnibell spin him or did he spin? So all you got to do is look at the replay.
That's right, and that wasn't my decision to make, but it looked for all the world like that decision was made by the officials. Yet we still had to wait for such a long time. So commiserations to the guys that didn't have the protest upheld. But Peter Hunnibell was a hell of a drive.
1NZ?
Absolute hell of a drive. 1NZ, second time 1NZ in TQs. Only one of 2 New Zealand drivers to be 1NZ in TQs and midgets.
Oh, that's right, is it 1NZ in midgets? Yeah.
The only other person to that is my mate Graham Standring. Oh. So, look, we've got the New Zealand 1, 2, 3. Peter did a great drive. The young guy out of Christchurch was awesome, just awesome. The 11 from Kiki, he was sitting 4th or 5th most of the time, was trying to search for us. I reckon we'd got 5 more laps out of that. Might have been a different result completely. That's how good the racing was. So congratulations to the New Zealand 1, 2 and 3. It's well deserved, and all of you guys drove a brilliant race. To the officials, look, I don't understand the rules and things like that, but everyone had an opinion, and I'm just thinking...
You do. I mean, you've been around long enough in Speedway to know that...
Okay, I'm going to turn it over.
Was Hunnibell at fault or not?
Look, that's not my decision.
No, but I mean, you know.
What's your expert opinion with your decades of experience?
Here's my expert opinion. We're going to go back to rugby league, and working with the Warriors over so many years, how many times has the officials got it wrong, but we've had to wear it because, and I've actually had letters from the NRL because I have questioned referees on their decisions. This was the decision that was made by the officials at the time. that stands. Okay? So when the official makes the decision, that stands.
Yeah. Let it go.
It's
I've
that
known the
simple.
Hunnibell family for a long time. When Peter was a junior at Waiuku and Merrimeri Dirt Tracks.
Yep.
And, I mean, Pete's a hard peddler. But one thing he is, he's a clean driver. I'm not saying he's an angel, but he's a clean driver. And I'm sure in a title or 2 laps to go, he would not be that stupid to go and hit a guy and spin him around.
Well, and the
Just
thing
wouldn't
was,
be that guy.
we had 7 laps of circulation while the officials debated it, and at the end of those 7 laps, they said, "No fault, Peter. Let's continue the
Job
race."
done. Move on.
So honestly, it strikes me that was the decision that was made by the officials. You shouldn't be arguing about it, particularly amongst the officials. 3 hours later.
So
What was the track like at Wairarapa?
It's starting to delaminate in some places. There's some really good grip. There were some lumps developing, and of course TQs were flying over those. There was I think there's only been 3 damaged motor vehicles.
Okay.
At close contact with themselves and the wall. But the grip is there. It needs more surface. Needs more surface.
Well, it's getting more surface.
Yeah.
We've talked about that.
Yep,
And,
it's getting more surface, but where there's grip, it's quick. Like, it is quick out there. Wow. And to just give you an idea of how they're circulating, the TQs were circulating in 15 and a half seconds.
Wow.
And I'm talking just about the field. Super, super tight racing. Yeah.
I mean, you talked about the 7 laps of circulation. I thought part of the controversy was going to be that some of the title contenders had fueled it so much that they hadn't accounted for 7 extra laps and they ran out.
But that's a decision that the team make before they even get on the track, and that's always the fine line you run when you're setting up for a championship. But yeah, just for me, it was the officialdom seemed to get to a point where, come on guys, you've actually made a decision, and that's when you say, look, we are the officials. This is the decision. Plenty of opportunity to challenge that later, but it kind of, for me, it soured what I thought was a great event. I thought all the driving was just brilliant.
3 hours post race is too long.
Yeah.
You should know a champion. You should know a champion when they cross the line. With it, I know you got, was it 30 minutes to protest or something, or 10 or whatever.
Here's the thing. Protest was lodged immediately the race finished.
Fair enough.
So it's not like someone was sandbagging to do that. So that's just me, and I'm going to stop it there before I get into
no one's in trouble.
Hey, look,
on
we alluded to it at the start of the episode. You went to the Concours.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that, because that's quite an experience every year.
There is something about that. My favourite part. Are you familiar with HT Holdens?
Oh yeah.
The old boxy HT Holdens. There was a fully restored HT Holden, beautiful, like the factory decals and that sort of thing. Beautifully done. Open the door, smells like brand new. And then about 100 metres away is an HT Holden that is 1 year newer. Has an original 60,000 miles on it with the original owner who bought it as a second car to do rural delivery mail. Oh. It's a poverty spec, doesn't have power steering and that sort of thing. She's manual, and it was perfect.
Nice.
Like the open and closing the doors, you sat in it, and I felt like I was 7 years old again, and we're going to the beach.
You were allowed to sit in it.
Oh, he was such a lovely guy.
Wow.
He took me through the whole car. We took up the boot, looked at the spare wheel. The spare wheel has never been on the car since it's new. And I'm talking, this is a survivor car, not a restored motor.
I was going to say, was it still dirty? In the nice way, like was it real? Was it gloves under there? There's no mud?
This is one of those cars that has never been out in the rain and things like that, ever since it was new.
Yeah, right.
Ever since it was new. It's been taken care of. Everything opens and closes like it should.
And you drove it there?
Drove it there.
Wow, that's the one.
Yeah, it's not a trailer queen.
No.
And you go, my goodness. And while the fully restored one was amazing, to see one in such original condition that you put the key in, you turn, here's something. The rocker cover has never been off.
Oh, wow.
The cork gasket is a little weepy.
Perfect, yeah.
But
they
that's
did.
it.
That's what they did.
Yeah, but that's it. And you turn the key, it goes roo, roo. And then it just settles down to this nice little clatter like a sewing machine for a bit, and then silence, just a little puff of
So
smoke.
here's one for you. Being at HT, was it 179 or 186?
It was a 186.
Oh, there we go.
In fact, both of them were
But
186s.
aren't those cars so much better for that experience? I mean, like people with multi-billion-dollar, hypercars that you'll only ever see on a truck, and even then the truck's air-conditioned and in its own little atmosphere and all that sort of stuff is cool. But cars like that, where you can actually touch them and sit in them and smell them and
remember what it was like when you saw them new,
Yeah.
you know, and just to go, oh my goodness, there were so many really great survivor cars that are there, and I love these guys to death because they drive them every day.
Yeah.
There was a TR6 that this couple, they bought in the UK, I'm just going to say in the 70s, I'm not going to give you exact years and that sort of thing. They brought it out to New Zealand, it stayed with them, it ended up in a shed for a while, and then they decided, we better clean it up. So understand this, it's not been somewhere where it was for a full restoration. They just went through the car, cleaned it up, ended up getting new paintwork, but everything else was cleaned by hand, put back on the car, and they drive it around. And they use it every single day. It does long miles, it's done loads of miles on this car, but it's in such great condition. It's incredible. So it's not about fully restoring cars, it's about really loving them. You know, and that's what I
survivor
got out of the whole
cars,
thing.
like you say.
That's
So what
I
other
really
cars were
enjoyed.
there? Well, I mean, was it a really good turnout? I mean, I haven't been to Concours for a long time. Sorry, Concours for a very long time. Was there a
Mustang
big
Club
turnout?
were the host club, and there was a great contingent of Mustangs. And I was talking to a friend of mine who's got his own race shop, HLR Racing, and he said, because I said, which car would you have? And he said, you're going to hate me for this, but that Mustang there. And look, the way he pointed at it with such ferocity, and you sort of go, yeah, well, I can see that. No worries. But yeah, and they were from all over. One of my favourites was an MR2 that's been turned into a rally car, Series 1 MR2 that's a rally car.
think I've seen this one.
It's got clamshells at either end, so it looks like a Lancia Beta.
Oh, wow.
And I actually know the guy that drives it. So that was Bruce. That's an amazing car. It's quite competitive, quite difficult to drive apparently, but it looks hysterical. So there was great things like that. There was a really old Citroen. There's cars that are over 100 years old that still run, and there were like cars that are just nearly brand new. And there was, I'm not sure if it was a resto mod or it's an original, but it looked like a Bugatti Atlantic from the 30s.
Oh.
If it's a Bugatti Atlantic, my house isn't worth what that car's worth, you know? So I was standing this close to absolute stunning brilliance. But there were things like Minis. Everyone's got a Mini story. Minis that were so good, they looked like they were brand new.
Wow.
Smelt like they were brand new.
So you've got access to a whole lot of cool cars with the man that you do restorations or help with doing restorations. Was any of his cars there? Or did you take anything there?
Graham doesn't...
I mean, those are high quality cars.
Graham does it for his own enjoyment. Like
Yep.
they're his cars, and he
Yep.
drives them and has a lovely time.
Yep.
And we do like going to shows and seeing comparisons. For the Datsun 260Z, there was another Datsun exactly the same colour as Graham's. Really nice interior. Guy wouldn't open the bonnet for me.
Wow.
So I had a... while he
One
was
of
looking
those
there-
characters.
Nah, well, I was looking the other way. I kind of snuck under and had a look, and I thought, oh, I can see why you wouldn't show me that bonnet. Our one's a lot nicer under the bonnet. But it was great to see all those cars. And there was an Alfa Romeo Montreal. Look that one up on Google, because that was the standout car for me.
Wow. We'll just
Because-
give you a second to pause and
because-
look that up.
In technical terms, it really shouldn't exist in New Zealand. So how it got here, that's marvellous.
It's amazing some of the cars that are in New Zealand.
Yeah, there are some just stunning motor vehicles, but congratulations to everyone that turned their car up there, even ones that you sort of look at and you go, why would anyone have that? Well, because it's still around.
And
it still
talking
goes.
about the trailer queens, a lot of cars turn up, well, the weather's a bit, I'm not going to bring it out, because they're worried about it getting wet. And I mean, they've spent more zeros than the Japanese Air Force. They don't want to, they don't want to get it
I was
wet or whatever.
I was watching a clip recently from it was like a Corvette owners club or something in the States, right? And Corvette owners are a certain breed. They all of their cars are one of one, because it's the only Corvette that was painted in red on a Tuesday at the Michigan factory with the fluffy dice on the mirror or whatever. There's always a reason why their Corvettes are rare, right? This particular Cars and Coffee or whatever it was started raining, like just little spits, it's a dribble, and you got all these middle-aged men scrambling to put their plastic covers over their C5 Corvettes and C4 Corvettes, and I think the nicest one there was probably a guy that had a C8, but I mean, that still had the factory ceramic coating on it, so he wasn't too fussed. But all these other guys clambering over each other to put their protective films because, old Bertha's never been out in the rain, and oh God, what's that going to do to the...
Probably doing more damage with the tarpaulin than just a little bit of rain get on it.
I'm going to jump in here on behalf of the Corvette Club drivers that I know. Yep. All their cars are amazing. They're like right from the very first C1s through the whole generations. And yes, they are some stunning cars. Not a single one of them is a trailer queen. There are moments when it starts to rain and they think, man, I've spent hours putting the polish on this thing. I'm going to put the cover over it. But they'll put the cover over it, the rain will stop, they'll take it off, put the cover in the boot, and they'll drive it home. So our Corvette owners
are doing exactly what he said those are Corvette owners doing by putting covers over the minute it starts raining. You've just backed it up.
Yeah, but
trying to
they drive their car, whereas American ones, they tend to just put them on a trailer and take them somewhere.
Hey, look, it's been half an hour at this point. We still got a whole lot on that sheet to get through.
Right,
We've got to power through it. First of all, Hammond.
Oh, Hammond.
Hammond, you blithering...
One thing I love is Top Gear is Jeremy. I mean, we all love the original trio: James May, Jeremy Clarkson, of course, Richard Hammond. And something special happened with Hammond just recently in Formula E, and there was a demonstration race.
When you say,
but the thing I really love is I want to hear the voiceover of Jeremy. There we got it eventually. Of Jeremy doing Hammond, you blithering idiot. Now, what better way to do that to Hammond? But it's not necessarily Richard.
No. Richard Hammond's daughter. I don't know why she was racing in Formula E, but she was in Formula E.
I think it was like a test session type thing.
Test session. Oh, that explains it. But it was, I would say it was a relatively low-speed accident.
Well,
considering how quick those things can go.
Whether there's onboard telemetry or something, because, I mean, when I first saw it, it's trying to turn. The tyres are protesting. It sounds like she's got her foot right up it and she's just steered into the wall. But she's saying that there wasn't enough heat in the tyres and there just wasn't the grip when she turned in. So, I mean, whatever the reasoning, that's a heavy hit. That was like 24 Gs, I think she said.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Wow.
Something like that. And absolutely. Which was... She kind of foreshadowed herself because she did the all the, hi, I'm Izzy Hammond and here's my team and here's my car and all that. And there's a bit where she walks past the pit. They've all got the helmets, for all the pit crew, right? Yep. And they're all hanging up there and she goes, this is all the equipment for the pit crew that they can, that they're going to sit there and watch me on the TVs while I don't put it in the wall.
Oh,
oops.
No.
But then she did do that sort of thing. Luckily enough, I mean, she is actually quite a good racing driver, and I'll possibly go out on a limb and say she's better than her dad.
Oh, hey, look, it's always a thing. I mean, her dad has made Top Gear was a household name. Top Gear was such a cornerstone of modern car culture and modern, people talk about, Fast and Furious, the Pixar, the cars, and Top Gear are sort of the three main cornerstones of
and to a lesser extent,
culture.
I mean the one they did for Amazon, the Grand
Tour.
The
Grand Tour,
which honestly though, because it had those three in there, it was Top Gear continued sort of thing.
The best thing that James May and Richard Hammond did was leave Top Gear as soon as Jeremy was axed, because it meant they were lightning struck twice. They knocked over to Amazon. They basically recaptured the same formula. They had the same producer. They had a lot of the same crew, and they managed to recapture that magic. So that was awesome. I've completely forgotten my segue. I had a point I was building up to there.
But there was absolutely, with the Grand Tour sort of thing, I never once saw an episode because I couldn't see it on free to air. I'll be blowed if I'm going to watch stuff on the data and internet and whatever it was. But I don't get why.
I've seen it all. I think it's great.
Oh, look, a Grand Tour's cool. Don't get me wrong, but it's why you cut your nose off to spite your face with losing those guys. But anyway, it's like Frosty Boy, often licked, never beaten. Everyone's tried to be Top Gear since, and so
the whole thing about Izzy being better than her father, right? He didn't need to be good at racing because he made such a name off the journalism. He doesn't need to be a race car driver. If Izzy wants to go down the path of racing and do Formula E or do GT4 or whatever she ends up doing, great for her, because respectfully, I don't think she's going to go down the journalism route.
And I've seen some videos of Richard just recently too, and he's just literally been given a car, and I can't remember what sort of car it was. I think it was whatever, Subaru or something, and he's just driving along with it. And he's talking about the car, not really reviewing the car, just saying he's driving the car. It's probably a 10-minute video. Brilliant. I'm sitting there, I watched the whole thing. I wasn't intending to,
Drive Tribe if you want to.
Yeah, Drive Tribe. Yeah, it was really great.
And things
here
like
we go. Yeah, we'll you can just.
Yeah, I consume all that stuff. I sit there and watch it on YouTube because
the way he talks, the way
he did a review
things.
actually on, this was a few months ago now, on the Mustang, the Dark Horse.
Right.
And same thing, you would swear you're watching a Top Gear segment. It's that the way the camera work and the filming and the way he talks about it. It's everything that he does and everything James does, and to a lesser extent Jeremy, because Jeremy's obviously a bit less involved these days with his age. Yeah, but it all sort of bleeds the same identity.
He said the A word.
Yeah,
harsh.
You know how I was going to kick someone in the shins? I think it might be Nathan next. Yeah,
hey, look, Formula One. Have you seen the Australian Grand Prix graphic?
No.
Have you seen that? So every event that they do, they try to have every driver talks about their home race, right? Because the home race, there's a bit more pride, there's a bit more thing. For the Australian Grand Prix, they've got Oscar Piastri, obviously. Yep. They've also got Lawson, and they've also got Valtteri Bottas. Because Valtteri Bottas has sort of rather infamously been claimed by the Aussies, and then of course Lawson.
Because
Australia is the closest.
Proximity to us.
We're not doing an F1 Grand Prix at Taupo or Highlands yet, but so they've called it the home-ish Grand Prix.
Okay, I like that. That's good. And still a little bit of controversy about the amount of horsepower you can get out of engines because of a little bit of trickery from the Red Bull and the Mercedes garage.
You alluded to that last week a little bit.
Yeah, but interestingly enough, Ferrari's the quickest overall out of the box. So if there is a little bit of trickery and that sort of thing, maybe it's not what everyone's making up to.
They also reckon that race starts are going to be a bit more dangerous now because previous years they used the MGU or whatever they're called, the electrical trickery to spool the turbo.
Yep.
Right? So they just sit there, they have the revs at a certain point, spools the turbo, away they go. This year they're not allowed to do that. So they need to sit on the grid, they need to rev higher for longer in order to get the same boost pressure.
What could possibly go wrong?
Heat soak. Well, man, can you imagine if they just delay those 5 buttons just a little bit longer? You'd be sitting there and watch one car in the back.
Is that a kangaroo?
They've actually suggested that, and Ferrari were the ones that shut them down and said, no, they vetoed the decision. Wow. I don't know why Ferrari did that. I don't know who gave Ferrari the authority, but there'll be a reason. It'll be because they're the first ever F1 team, and that we've been around here since 1950. We have a say. I don't know, but reportedly they actually said, "Hey, look, we could delay the start cycle a bit so that you can."
I think I'm going to correct you there. First one F1 team. I think you'll find Mercedes and Auto Union preclude Ferrari because they used to race under Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, but Ferrari have always raced as Ferrari.
And Fiat because it was Mr. Ferrari, Enzo Ferrari, drove for Fiat as a Formula One driver. So
I guess the loophole there is Ferrari's always raced as Ferrari, whereas Mercedes, like you say, they've raced as this and that and Auto Union and something.
The one that stayed true.
Yeah. So anyway, yes.
And Indycar. A few bits and pieces about Indycar as well. So looking forward to that.
There was a really interesting thing about, there was talking about the controversy at Formula One. There was a press conference, and then there was a tweet was sent to Formula One from Indycar that said, "Hey guys, you want to go over some great racing? Come into Indycar."
What?
Yeah. I think it was a total piss take, but it took everyone by surprise with that one. So that's
Indycar social media admin is
they're ramping it up there, and so really, and I think you're going to see a lot more presence from IndyCar this year in terms of advertising the races, getting out there, because it's going to be tight. And once again, you look at the restrictions on IndyCar. Right? You've got 2 engine manufacturers. All the bodies are made by the same company. You just get to adjust your aero package for the race, and you've got a standard tyre. You're running standard fuel. So it's all in how you set the car up. So there's none of this, oh yes, apparently we can get higher compression ratios later on. No, they can't. It's all in the way you do it. So that is, I guess, the way it's going to be meted out, which brings me to a really interesting point, and this is what I'm thinking about. Netflix, naturally, is going to carry on with Drive to Survive, the story of Formula One.
Of course they are.
We've already seen from NASCAR the development, and I'm picking that this year you're going to see an IndyCar one. Probably not from Netflix, but certainly within the realms of the streaming services. just to really kind of lift the game and show, because it's great. And let's not forget, there's a bunch of Kiwis. In fact, every single IndyCar team has a Kiwi in it. And if you've got Sky TV, try watching Kiwis Born to Fly Part 3. It's on there. And
also going from IndyCar to Supercars, they recently had a release with what's called the Road to Glory, which was the championship of 2025.
Yeah.
They had some of the key stakeholders in what was the challenge for the championship and everything. And of course, one particular guy who missed out on the championship on the last day, being spun around by Ryan Wood, and then obviously having a major engine issue, which cost him a lap and a bit, and that where Chaz came and took the win. So they had this thing called the Road to Glory. Well, when they had the up on this large screen of it going, they're all standing there looking at it, and then when it came time to mention the incident that happened between Ryan and Brock turns around with his back to the camera, and they had a comment with him later on and said, "What was that all about?" He goes, "I don't need to see it, mate, I lived it."
See, the thing about that is, I mean, the turning around sucked, and that was a crushing blow, and that was he had the engine issue later. I think he was always going to have the engine issue.
He had the same engine issue on Saturday that they supposedly fixed overnight. It was good for the start. It wasn't happening when Ryan... They had the call. We don't believe it was happening when Ryan had the contact.
Yeah,
they had the contact. He's
so
fighting through the field.
Ryan's contact is always going to be used as the scapegoat for the defining moment. Yep. But I mean, how much more crushing would it have been if he'd had a perfect run, done everything right, played by the book, everything, and then just
and the engine grenaded, and no contact, and all that sort of stuff.
How much more painful would that be?
It's one of those things, though. You've got to let it go and move forward. I mean, Ryan has just made every post a winner. He didn't win the championship over this. You've got to remember his teammate did. They're all saying about malice and about this, and if you look at 2024, when exactly the same thing happened at virtually the exact same spot by the exact same protagonists, but that seemed to be forgotten. And then when you see that Ryan has stepped up, he's been driving this, he's done the TRS group and that. He's been driving everything that he possibly can get his backside into. Brock, by default, has pretty much gone to ground. And now he's come back sporting stubble, and he's gonna this, and he's got unfinished business, and it's just like it's a tantrum. It's like, let it go, mate. Embrace it. Have a bit of a sense of humour. Focus on what you're doing. And I'm not saying disrespectfully have a sense of humour, but no one likes to see a spoilt brat, and he's acting like a spoiled brat. That's my take on
why,
it.
Though
I can understand why.
So
but Ryan didn't cause the engine issue.
Yeah,
and you've got to put it into perspective. Is it worth losing heartbeats over? He's the more he reacts, the more he's going to be goaded all through the year.
Yeah,
and even if he wins the title, it's going to be probably the most unpopular win of Supercars ever.
And for him, would be to my mind that happened last year.
Yeah, man.
This year, it's about what I can achieve this year,
Correct.
what the team can achieve, and if I pull off the number one, it can be the... See, I told you.
It's time for a reset. It's time for a new slate, especially with Triple Eight now in the Fords.
But the thing is, did he have a tantrum to the mechanic who actually failed to find whatever was wrong with it from the Saturday to the Sunday? Did he have a tantrum to the bosses, to the engineers? So, yes, there was contact. No, it didn't cost him the race. It cost him track position. And it was a very long race that you could get most of that back. If the car had run faultlessly, he would have won the championship, no doubt.
Yeah. And just quickly, segueing to NASCAR, because SVG has just gone and put all of NASCAR on notice.
Again.
Oh, so it must have been a road course, was it, at Daytona?
No, it was Daytona 500.
I'm being facetious.
As in yes. So, all those people that have written him off, and when he gets that secret formula for oval racing... Watch out.
So we're not really discussing what actually happened in Daytona. So just tell us a little bit how the race went. No, he didn't win, but...
Yeah, he did qualify. It was interesting. He qualified for the Daytona 500, and that's awesome. He didn't qualify brilliantly, but then again, he understood why. And it was about going out there, and he had a great time. Just had an awesome time. So, look, not this year, but it's coming. And the thing is, the rules are the same for every single driver out there. So for anyone to get on their high horse and go, oh, well, he should be doing this and that, go and tell everyone else in pit lane exactly the same thing.
I think we're missing a point. I think we're missing a big point.
It's not going to be SVG.
The point we're missing is that Shane was leading the race, and Shane led the race for quite a long time
on his own merit.
On his own merits, and it wasn't because he wasn't really getting a heck of a lot of bump draft help, which apparently is very important. Yep. Not only that, if he wasn't leading the race, he was in or about the top 10 for a long portion of the race.
And that's great.
Only failed to stay on the same lap because he got spun around,
Yep.
as many others did.
Wow.
So he really has put them on notice. And my facetious comment about being a road course, the fact this is an oval, the fact it's Daytona, the fact the best of the best were there on the best of the best. I mean, they had everything dialed in. And Shane was not 31st anymore. He did finish 30th, but then a lot of cars, it was a 17-car wreck, which he got caught up in. That's what caused the issue. But they did get the car turned around. They went from 2 laps down to the lucky dog, they call it. He got up to 1 lap down. I don't think he was on the lead lap. I've heard that he was and he wasn't. I don't think he was on the lead lap when the checkered flag came out. But in the earlier stages of that race, as with many others, to be there or thereabouts is unbelievable.
But you know what Americans are going to do, right?
Oh.
So because you've got,
we never know what an American's going to do.
You've got your super speedways,
Yep.
which there's a rule set for what's a speedway and what's a super speedway and what's a short track. They've got all their rules. I think super speedways are supposed to be at least 2 miles or something.
Okay.
Because Daytona is like 4Ks or whatever that. Anyway, you got Daytona, you got Talladega, you've got whatever other that are the super speedways, your big fast ones. If Shane wins there, then they're going to go, he's a road course expert and a super speedway, but he still doesn't know how to do speedways. He still doesn't know. I won't be convinced until he wins at Bristol or something like that. It'll be they keep changing the goalposts, and
But that's always the way of a critic, isn't it? A
Yeah.
critic is always going to change the goalpost. They'll never give credit for someone doing a really, really good job.
These are the guys that have gotten drunk on light beer and have loaded up on Doritos.
Speaking of really good jobs and the Daytona 500, what about the guy that crossed the line backwards?
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah, I just saw the car and I was thinking, what's he doing? The car's wrong, and he reversed the way around the track because when you cross the line, you get a qualification on it, and he needed that qualification, and you thought, good on him. Plus, it gave the crowd something different, something. So I think hats off to him for that, for full-on entertainment. That's
But he wouldn't have done it on. He would have been spun around, or his gearbox had failed or something.
Yeah,
But that's the key word, isn't it? Entertainment. I mean, it's the same with Ross Chastain when he did the around the wall thing.
Yeah,
that was never going to be allowed to happen again. But the fact that he did it was just such quality,
just amazing.
such quality entertainment.
PlayStation quality.
Yeah.
Oh, good fun.
Right,
Plenty else to talk about. Sim racing for 2026.
Yep. So the World Series is still ongoing, Nations Cup, and quite a few of the pro guys are starting to retire from Gran Turismo, which is a crying shame because it's just Gran Turismo have really shot themselves by structuring the series in such a way that, recently there was a post about Gran Turismo having 2 million active players a month, monthly active players.
Yep.
Only problem is that of those 2 million, only about 24 are ever going to be able to qualify for the World Series for the whole year.
Right.
Like the championship wraps up in like a week or two. If you haven't qualified for that World Series, there's nothing more for you to do until next year.
Right.
And we're in February. So from a competitive point of view, these are guys with teams, with sponsors, with, backing behind them. They've got brands, they've got, they are professionals. They're going to sit there scratching their asses until January next year.
So as opposed to, is there other groups or sim racing that...
Well, iRacing, for example, has the special events that are through the year. Like they're actually just about to do their own Bathurst 12-hour this weekend.
Yep.
But then, they've got a whole count. They've got Knoxville Nationals in the sprint cars. They've got, retro, I think 1987 NASCARs. They do a special event. They've got all these special events that are completely popcorn through the year.
Yep.
So there's always something to do. And, even Assetto Corsa, has official competitions here and there. And even like some of the newer titles that you're starting to see, Race Room, Rensport, Project Motor Racing even has competitions. And that is still a while away from being a perfect game, but they're still doing competition. Gran Turismo, they don't care. Like I say, if you don't qualify, then, there's still leagues. There's still like private organised leagues and stuff. But as far as the top echelon, the Gran Turismo World Series with all the fanfare and all the hype and the buzz, if you don't qualify in, a few weeks' time, you're done until next year. And so a lot of those top guys are starting to go, right, that's enough of Gran Turismo for me. And, they're finding it harder and harder to get on and do the practice and it not be laborious.
Yeah.
Because, that's unfortunately, Gran Turismo have done it to themselves. If they did individual qualifiers for every round, so you actually had 3 or 4 chances to qualify for the World Series, that would be better.
Yep.
But that's not going to happen because they're stubborn like that. So and we've been hanging out for things to change for years. And I mean, that's even without delving into the issues like race penalties and some certain calls that were a bit, certain qualification regs. And it's just, anyway.
Right. We were talking about all the stuff to do with race officials before.
Yeah.
When you take it into the sort of sim racing world, then it does become absolutely blinking ridiculous, doesn't it?
It
That's
does.
just
It does.
phenomenal.
Yep.
Quickly, what things we got coming up?
So this weekend at Waiuku is going to be going down to Merrimeri Dirt Track for the second part of the challenge. So Waiuku Dirt Track, they hosted Merrimeri a few weeks ago, and the dates have all been shushed around a little bit. So they've said this weekend it's going to happen. So if you want to go down to Merrimeri Dirt Track, $10 through the gate for an adult. I think it's $5 for a kid or whatever it is, but really good value, big good racing, big turnout there for us for Merrimeri, which they need. They're a good club. That's going to be cool. And we've also just released, the Hunnibell team have just released a Auto Kana on the 8th of March.
All right.
At the Drift Park. So regs are out for that one. If people want to get involved and get in touch, we're going to run an elimination round again like we did last year for a bit of a trial. We're going to run it again. It seemed really popular. So $99 to drive for the whole day. Bring your carb, helmet, overalls, have some fun.
What's this I see down here? Sneaky track day?
Yeah, so we don't have a track day which we've been allowed to come and put 20 cars on, so we didn't really make any noise about that. This is Hunnibell with the at Hampton Down Skid Day. It's actually a Wednesday again on the 18th of March. And we got sent, hey, look, do you want to put 20 cars into a group and put them on the track? We had 55 cars at our last event. We thought if we go and throw it out there as a public notice, it's just going to be about to contain.
And sure enough, even just by keeping it in our little sort of inner circle, we're already pretty much at capacity.
And there's still guys I haven't been able to get hold of. We're actually full, but we've been allowed another 5, and we've got 3 already. So we've got technically 2. Do you want to bring your?
Going to be one of the
Yaris?
lucky 2. Then
they're a bit of fun, so that'll be cool. So the auto count on the 8th, track day on the 18th, and that. But you come along and have a look, and there's going to be a huge smorgasbord of cars there as usual. But it's just the one group for us, and we'll all run together, so we don't have any rocket ships out there. But.
And finally, coming up, the NZ1 GP.
Yeah, NZIGP. So we've had them on the show.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's right. The International Grand Prix. We've had them on the show before, Raywin and Tim. And part of the reason I can't do the end of Waiuku seasons, they contacted me and said, hey, do you want to come and do the 3 race dates in March? Well, it's pretty cool. I really enjoy dirt track.
Nice
I really enjoy Speedway, but I love circuit.
Yeah, there are some times where that sentence would make absolutely no sense. So anyway, you're going to be at NZIGP.
So they've got 3 2-day race meets week after week after week. It's incredible. 14th and 15th of March at Hampton. The 21st and 22nd of March at Hampton again, but that's the Legends of Speed. I really hope we can be there with some sort of, because it's going to be some massive, like the people they're talking, and they want to promote when they come on. They want to come on the show. So
great. Well,
is that okay?
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Get them on the show soon before the events. Yeah, I'm sure they will. And yeah, the Legends of Speed on the 21st, 22nd is going to be off the charts. I've already heard from Tim a few of the people and the cars, and spoken to a couple of guys. And then the following week, there's the 28th, 29th at Taupo, which is the final of the 3. But the Legends of Speed is only the 21st and 22nd of March. And in a week or 2, we'll get them on the show and hear all about it. But I believe the tickets are available, so get onto NZIGP and get those tickets procured. But it will be off. And I mean, at Hampton, although it's not the greatest spectator track, when you've got that lineup of cars, and you've got that quality of cars, you can still see some good spots.
I've got to say, to be perfectly honest with you, every time I go to Hampton, there's a special event like this, I always make a beeline to go and look at the vehicles.
Oh, yeah.
The racing is very secondary to me, to actually be there, particularly with the Legends of Speed. If there's going to be some special guests there, an opportunity to, I mean, this is crazy, get autographs, get selfies and things like that. Understand that these people are legends, not just in the New Zealand motorsport area. They actually have legendary status
big time.
Worldwide.
And some of the names and some of the cars, I mean, they're household names. I can't say anything because obviously that's Tim and Raywin's job. So we are going to have them on the show in the next few weeks, so really looking forward to that. But sorry, Waiuku Dirt Track Club, Love you a long time. 1st of March is the last one I'll be doing for the season at Waiuku, but that's the reason why I can't do the other 2 race meets. So I've got a good man to come and cover me
I'll
for
try
that
to
one.
make it to the last one.
You're a good man. So those ones, and we went to the GTR Fest at Hampton. Of course, that was a pretty cool day as well. So to go to NZIGP, whether we go to 3 or whether we go to 1 or whatever, but it has to be Legends of Speed if it's 1.
Now,
it will be off the charts.
Speaking of the GTR Fest, Logical Performance, where we are lucky enough to broadcast from, are GTR specialists. And I did allude to it at the beginning of the show, so if you've stuck with us for this long, Carl next week has promised me there's going to be an unboxing extravaganza of the likes you're probably not likely to see. However, you will absolutely love it. It's about huge, reliable horsepower, because that's what Carl does. And we'll talk about that next time on the Trackside Lounge.